I wasted 2 years bulking the wrong way. This is a picture of me 6 months ago, and this is a picture of me now. In this time frame, I gained 25 plus pounds from following the lean bulking protocol that I'm going to give you guys in this video. All right, so if I had to start over with all my progress, I'm going to give you guys the exact steps that I would follow if I had to reset again to grow faster. So I broke this into 3 sections. We have diet, training, and mindset. All right, and I even have a bonus section at the very end of the video, which is going to be recovery. So for the people who stay tuned for that, I will give you guys some extra tips for recovery. All right. But for right now, we're going to be focused on diet, training, and mindset. All right. So the goal for diet is to increase your appetite, because the problem is your appetite just isn't big enough, right? Whenever you're bulking, it's very hard to consume a lot of food whenever you don't have a big appetite. So that's the reason why most skinny people just stay small, because they don't have a big enough appetite. That's why most fat people stay fat, because they have too big of an appetite, right? The goal is to kind of be in the middle, so we can basically be in the middle of skinny and fat, just the jack dude, right? That's the goal we want to get to. All right, and the first thing we're gonna do for diet is focus on quitting coffee. All right, quitting coffee. So you might be like wondering, like, Julian, why would I quit coffee? What does coffee have to do with me bulking? Well, I made a whole YouTube video on this that goes a lot more in depth into why coffee can hurt your bulking gains. But for this video specifically, I'm just gonna say drinking coffee does decrease your appetite. All right. And like I said, we're trying to bulk up. We're trying to have a bigger appetite as much as possible so we can eat more food. The problem is that our appetite isn't big enough. When you drink coffee, you make your appetite even smaller, right? So you're really just holding yourself back from just bulking up whenever you drink coffee, because it makes your appetite smaller. So you're not going to be as hungry. You're going to be full a lot more faster whenever you drink coffee. Or you don't even realize it. So the first thing you guys need to do is just quit drinking coffee altogether, right? If you guys are not convinced by this itself, I made a whole YouTube video on why quitting coffee can actually help with your bulking gains. So you guys can check that out right after this. But right now, quit drinking coffee and you will see more gains. All right, I started drinking coffee when I was like 2 years ago. I started drinking coffee as soon as I started going to the gym. Basically, I started drinking coffee, and I drank coffee until like 6 months ago. And what do you know? These last 6 months, like the most pounds I put on in like this time frame, like it's crazy how much pounds I put on following this exact bulking protocol that I'm giving you guys in this video, and by just quitting coffee itself. All right, so that's number one. Just quit drinking coffee, and you will see more gains. I promise you. All right, number two is going to be liquid calories. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are already doing this, but for the people who are doing this is going to be drinks like juices, milkshakes, protein shakes. All right. Basically, the whole point of liquid calories is to get the same amount of calories you will get from a regular meal, but in a liquid form. Because the good thing about liquid calories is that you can basically double the calories you get in the liquid form versus the actual food you eat. So, for instance, let's say you're eating a steak, right? 1,000 calorie steak versus a 1,000 calorie protein shake. The 1,000 calorie protein shake is going to be way easier to consume. All right. So that's why you want to drink liquid calories. All right. I made a big protein shake this last like 8 months, and I've been drinking it every single night, been increasing the calories every single time. And I have made good bulking gains from just drinking protein shakes every single day. So basically, you don't look at a protein shake like this is what's going to really move the needle, right? So what you want to do is basically just have a high calorie protein shake every single time. So instead of having a big meal at the end of the day, or what you can do is have your regular 3 meals, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. And then at the end of the day, you have a really big protein shake that gets you so much more calories. All right. That's going to be like 5 meals a day. That's going to be easy calories, easy bulk. All right. Number three is going to be eating in a calorie surplus. Now, you guys probably heard this one a lot too. Basically, for the goal for this is to eat above your maintenance. So you can find your maintenance by just going to like an app like MyFitnessPal and putting in your height and weight, and it'll give you your maintenance. What you want to do is eat probably like 500 to 800 calories above that maintenance, so we can really maximize our bulking gains. Now, I know a lot of people will tell you 200, 300 above the maintenance, but I'm personally gonna tell you 500 to 1,000, especially if you're trying to bulk as fast as possible, just because you will see a lot more faster gains. And you're not going to get fat by doing this. I didn't get fat. You're not going to get fat as long as you follow the training protocol I'm about to give you guys in just a minute. All right, so eating a calorie surplus, all right, eat 100% clean while you're doing this. Don't eat pizzas, don't eat donuts, don't eat cakes, because that's what's going to actually get you fat. All right, so if you want to actually not get fat while doing this, you got to eat 100% clean, or it's just simply not going to work. You will get fat. All right, so 500 to 800 calories above maintenance is what I recommend for maximum gains. Now we have the training section. So the goal for training is going to be putting on muscle while staying lean. All right, because we want to stay lean while we do this. All right, what's the point of going in bulk if you have to cut all the way back down again, right? We're not trying to do all that. All right, so training, the first thing we're going to follow is compound lifts. I know you guys probably heard this one too. Compound lifts is important because they do hit multiple muscle groups at once. So let's say you go to the gym and your goal is to do a typical push day, right? So you want to hit your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. All right, if you go do the bench press, you will hit your chest, shoulders, and triceps all at the same time. But if you just go to the tricep extensions, then you're not going to be hitting all the muscle groups at the same time. And when you hit multiple muscle groups at the same time, you're building strength in multiple muscle groups at the same time versus just one single muscle group. That's going to make you so much more stronger altogether, and it's going to be building multiple muscles at once. All right, which is going to really help you put on more weight, put on more pounds, and actually ultimately get stronger. All right, so that's why you want to do compound lifts. Number 2 is progressive overload. Progressive overload, the best way to do this is to get a journal, a notepad. You can even go on your phone notes and basically track every single lift. All right, this is what's the best way to do progressive overload, in my opinion. And you basically put the lift in you did today. So let's say you went on bench press today and you did 180, right? You benched 185 pounds for the day and you did it for 4 reps. So you go put in Monday, whatever date it is, bench press 185, 4 reps. Put that in. The next week, the goal is to shoot for bench press 185, 5 reps. All right, and that's gonna be like the next week after the next session. All right, you do this every single time, you get a little bit stronger every single session. You're gonna make so much more gains than the person who's just not tracking it at all. All right, because the goal is to get a little bit stronger every single time. Because if you get a little bit stronger every single time, you're gonna make more gains. You're gonna build more muscle. All right, that's gonna be progressive overload for you guys. Number 3 is gonna be playing a sport. All right, playing a sport. Now, this isn't really related to building more muscle, but it actually does build you more muscle, especially in the legs. But playing a sport is going to be amazing for staying lean during this whole process. All right, if you're just playing the sport while bulking, like you're going to be putting on a lot of pounds while staying lean, right? I look, I still have these right here. And I've been bulking. I've been gaining 25 pounds in the last 6 months. I still have these. I didn't lose these. You know what I mean? So play a sport, and that's how I did that, right? So the good thing about playing a sport over doing, typical cardio like running, like a mile, is that whenever you play a sport, you have an objective, right? You have an objective on the sport. You're gonna be having more fun because you're not thinking about running. Because whenever you run a mile, like people who run a mile, you know that like it gets tiring. Like you run the mile and you're very tired. You want to take a break, but you gotta keep pushing through. And there's no objective when you run a mile. When you play a sport, you're gonna be having an objective in front of you the whole time, right? You're gonna be trying to score for basketball, for example. You're gonna be trying to score as much as possible so you guys can win as much games as possible, right? So like 2 pickup basketball games is better than running 2 miles all day. You want to take that, all right, because it's so much easy cardio to get, right? It's so fun to do cardio like that while having a objective. You're not even focused on the cardio itself. You're just doing it mindlessly. That's the whole point of doing a sport over typical cardio. And if you want the exact lean bulking protocol that I use, top link in the description to learn more. All right, the exact lean bulking protocol that I use to gain 25 pounds in 6 months. Top link in the description with my exact training philosophy. All right. Now, the final thing we're going to talk about is mindset. All right. So, for mindset, the goal for this is just be consistent with all of this stuff, the training, the nutrition, everything you want to be consistent at. All right. That's the whole point of mindset. All right. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is making everything a habit. So, I'm just going to write habit, but make everything a habit is going to be the first step for mindset. And if you can just make all this stuff a habit, if you can make compound lifts, doing compound lifts consistently with progressive overload, with the journaling, with the tracking, playing a sport right after your lift, quitting coffee, drinking liquid calories every single day. If you can eat in a calorie surplus every single day, if you can do all these things and make it into a habit, you're gonna be doing this shit on autopilot, right? You're not gonna have to think, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. No, you're gonna do this shit on autopilot. All right. You do this on autopilot, like this is easy. For example, if you never played video games before and you just started playing video games one day, it's not gonna be a habit yet. You're not gonna be doing that consistently unless you had such a fun time, playing the video games and you're gonna do it over and over and over again for days on end. Then it's gonna be a habit, a bad habit, but then it's gonna be a habit. You wanna look at the same way with these stuff right here, these steps right here. And by the way, you can get consistent in anything when you follow it like that. I If you just make everything a habit, right? You can get consistent in morning routines, night routines, just routines in general. You can get consistent eating healthy, going to the gym every single week, right? Doing this will allow you to get consistent at anything you want in life. All right, whether it's a bad habit or a good habit. So if you make it a habit, you will have it on autopilot, right? That's the goal. So whenever you're making a habit, whenever you're building a habit, it usually does take like 2 to 4 weeks. But if you just push through those like 2 to 4 weeks on just, okay, we gotta make this in a habit. We gotta make this in a habit. But remember that, okay, I'm feeling unmotivated to do this today, but if I do it anyway, it will eventually become a habit. It will become autopilot. If you think of it like that, you will make progress. All right. You will become a lot more consistent on the things we're trying to do. All right. Number 2 is going to be training hard. All right. Train hard. You don't want to be the guy in the gym who just goes to the gym, half-asses his work, and leave. All right. You want to be the guy in the gym who goes in the gym and train your absolute butt off, right? You want to go insane. You want to be in the gym like, I'm gonna lift some heavy weights today, right? That's the mindset you want to have. You don't want to ego lift, but you want to train hard. All right. So train hard, and you will make way more gains in the gym. The reason why is because you're going to be going a lot more closer to failure, which means your body and your muscles are going to be repairing more to get past that failure mark that it was for that set. All right. For instance, this is going back to the progressive overload. You're going to get a little bit stronger every single time. The goal is when you train hard, you want to just push yourself every time, every set, every rep you do, push yourself to the absolute max, especially if you're starting out, because this is going to really help you push the needle. Number three is going to be just don't quit. Don't quit. If you don't quit, you will make progress. Time's going to pass anyway. I know this stuff does take time, right? Building a really good physique is going to take time. Getting really fit is going to take time. But the time's going to pass anyway, right? In 2 years, you can either have the dream physique that you want, or in 2 years, you can have your current physique. Or you might have a worse physique in 2 years. Which one would you rather do, right? So that's how you want to think of don't quit. If you quit, you get the bad physique. If you don't quit and you just keep going through, time's going to pass anyway, then you'll get the good physique. All right, time's going to pass anyway at the end of the day. So, I mean, you might as well use that time in a good way. All right. Now, finally, we're going to be talking about recovery. This is going to be sleeping. This marker's going out right now. But this is going to be sleeping 9 to 10 hours every single night, consistently. Like I said, you got to make this into a habit too. But sleeping 9 to 10 hours a night is going to be crucial for maximizing your muscle growth and overall your health in general. All right. Like sleeping 9 to 10 hours is going to give you more growth hormone for your muscles, which is going to allow them to grow bigger, stronger, faster. All right. And literally, like, there's people who go out there and inject human growth hormone into their body itself. If you could just get it naturally from just sleeping more, like, you're going to be in a way better spot, all right, in a healthier way. Okay. So make sure you guys sleep 9 to 10 hours consistently every single night. Okay. So that's the recovery for you guys. Some other stuff you guys can do is like hop in the sauna, cold shower, ice bath, red light therapy, steam rooms. All those are really great for recovery too. And also diet is, if you have your diet dialed in, you will have better recovery. All right. So that is how I would bulk if I had to reset again. Okay. So if you made this far in the video, like, subscribe for more. Comment down below what your current weight is and where you want to get to. Okay. I'll catch you guys in the next one.